Today, we're going to completely rethink what home means. We're going to talk about how to transform it from a place that, let's be honest, can sometimes be a source of stress into a genuine sanctuary that actually helps your brain thrive.
So, let me ask you this. Have you ever walked through your front door after a really long day, just craving that feeling of relief, but instead, you just feel drained? Maybe even more overwhelmed than before? If that sounds familiar, trust me, you are not alone. And what we're about to explore suggests the problem isn't you, it's something hiding in plain sight.
So here's the big reframe. What if that feeling of exhaustion you get at home has nothing to do with some personal flaw and has everything to do with a hidden conflict, a fundamental mismatch between the space you live in and what your nervous system is practically screaming for?
We're calling this the hidden mismatch. And this is so important to get. That feeling of being overwhelmed. It's not a defect. It's not something wrong with you. It's a signal. It's your body trying to tell you something really important about your environment.
Okay, so let's put a name to it. Scientists call this an environmental mismatch. And it's a really simple, powerful concept. It just means that your surroundings, the lights, the sounds, the clutter, are basically writing checks that your brain's energy account just can't cash. The demands are exceeding the capacity.
Now this is where things get really interesting, because this idea completely flips the script. For social smarts, honestly, understanding this one shift puts you way ahead of the curve. The old way of thinking was always to ask, what's wrong with the person? But this new ecological view asks a much better question. Hey, what's wrong with the environment? It changes the entire game.
And check this out. This is what's called ecological intelligence. It turns out that things we sometimes label as symptoms are actually brilliant survival strategies. That feeling of shutting down? That's not a failure. It's your brain hitting the emergency brakes to conserve power. And that intense, deep focus on one thing, that's an incredible way to create a calm island of stability in a sea of chaotic noise. These are smart responses to a mismatched world.
And let's be real, our modern world is practically designed to create this mismatch. The constant dings from our phones, the endless traffic noise, the visual chaos everywhere we look, it's all piling up, and it's pushing so many of us, neurodivergent or not, right past our breaking point.
So, if our homes are speaking a language that's stressing our brains out, how do we teach them to speak a new one? A calmer one? Well, let's get into it. We've got a simple, actionable framework you can use right away.
For settlers and strategists. Okay, here is the game plan. It's a simple, three-step framework that anyone can use. No fluff, just what works. First, we're going to manage the sensory stuff coming in. Second, we're going to make our space way more predictable. And third, we're going to actively add things that soothe and restore us. Simple, right?
For settlers, let's kick things off with step one. And the best part is, these are easy, affordable wins. You know those harsh, buzzing fluorescent lights? They can be incredibly taxing. Just swapping them for warm, dimmable LEDs can feel like a sigh of relief for your brain. Same with sound. Hard surfaces bounce noise all over the place. Adding soft things like rugs, curtains, or even just some big pillows literally soaks up that stress from the air. Okay, step two, predictability. Here's why this works. Clutter isn't just about being messy, it's a cognitive nightmare. Every single object in your line of sight is another piece of information your brain is forced to process. It's like having 100 browser tabs open in your mind all at once. It just drains your mental battery and ramps up your stress.
So what can you actually do about it? Two really straightforward tactics here. First, the classic 4-pile decluttering method. You've probably heard of it. But the second one, zoning, is a real game changer. When your brain knows this chair is for reading and that desk is for work, it doesn't have to constantly make decisions. It creates a predictable mental map of your home, and that is incredibly calming.
And finally, step 3. This is the fun part. This isn't just about removing the bad stuff, it's about actively bringing in the good stuff. Bringing plants or natural wood into your space taps into something called biophilia, our brain's innate love for nature, and it's been proven to lower stress hormones. And please, don't underestimate the power of touch. Things like a soft, chunky blanket or a plush cushion provide soothing input that can directly help regulate your nervous system.
Okay, get ready for this, because this is one of those cool, you didn't know this kind of facts. We've talked about sight, sound, and touch, but what about smell? Well, studies have found that the scent of lavender can have such a powerful calming effect on the nervous system that some researchers have compared its effectiveness to certain anti-anxiety meds. How wild is that? A simple essential oil diffuser could be a really powerful tool. So when you put it all together, managing what comes in, creating predictability, and adding things that restore you, what does this really all mean? Well, it's about something much bigger than just a few design tips. This is not just for one type of person or one type of brain.
And here is the real punchline. When you design a space that works for the most sensitive among us, you don't end up with some weird clinical-looking space. You actually create an environment that feels better, more comfortable, and more restorative for everyone. For a tired parent, a visiting friend, for you. It's simply better, more thoughtful, human-centered design.
And this quote from Sherry Clonan, who went through this whole process for her own family, just says it perfectly. It's about dignity, you know? It's about having a home that works with your brain, not against it.
So the big idea to walk away with is this. Your home can be more than just walls and a roof. It can actually become like a secondary nervous system, an external support system that helps you regulate, that helps you restore your energy, and that makes you feel safe enough to finally drop the mask and just be yourself.
And that leaves us with one final big question. We've talked about how to do this in our own homes, but what happens when we walk out the front door? If we can make our homes into sanctuaries, what would it take to make our offices, our schools, and our cities feel just a little bit more like one too? Let me know what you think.
If this touched your heart, please subscribe, like, and share it with your family. Save this for more meaningful content ahead.